Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're heading to a country that's got it all. Ancient history, vibrant culture, and landscapes that'll blow you away.
Armenia.
Armenia is right. We're diving into a traveler's guidebook.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's packed with stories and details that'll make you want to book a flight. ASP.
I can already tell this is going to be a good one.
Oh, it is. Get this. Armenia was the very first nation to make Christianity its official religion.
Seriously?
Yeah, way back in the 4th century.
Wow. That's like centuries before a lot of Europe went Christian.
Right. Think about the impact that had.
Yeah, that's huge. It shaped their art, architecture, even how they held on to their identity during tough times.
I was reading about those intricate stone crosses, Kachkars, all over the country.
Exactly. And even today, the way families celebrate, the traditions, you can see that deep connection to their faith.
You know, sometimes when I think ancient country,
Yeah.
I picture like dusty ruins.
Yeah, I get that.
But this guidebook is talking about Yerevan, the capital, and it sounds so alive. They have these fountains that actually dance to music.
Oh, the singing fountains.
Yeah, imagine that, walking through these ancient squares, and there's this modern water symphony happening around you.
It's a perfect blend of old and new, honestly.
And did you know they have a world-famous brandy company there?
The Yerevan Brandy Company, their stuff's amazing.
I know, right? And then you can go from brandy tasting to exploring libraries full of ancient manuscripts.
Only in Armenia, right.
Seriously, it's like history and innovation all rolled into one.
It's a pretty unique place.
Speaking of unique, we have to talk about the food.
Okay, hit me.
This dish, Kordovats, it's all I can think about.
Oh man, Koravats. Think, like perfectly marinated meat grilled over an open fire.
I'm already drooling.
It's the heart of Armenian cuisine. You know, families gather, share stories while that amazing smell fills the air.
And it's got to be eaten with lovash bread, right?
Of course, that thin, almost papery bread.
The guidebook says it's used for everything. I can't wait to try it.
It's baked in a special clay oven, a tonnier, passed down through generations. It's like an art form.
Wow, that's incredible. It's amazing how food can tell you so much about a culture.
Totally. Armenian cuisine, it's got influences from all its neighbors. It's this blend of Middle Eastern richness, Eastern European heartiness,
So much flavor.
and fresh herbs and produce from the Caucasus region. It's a real culinary tapestry.
Okay, we could talk about food forever, but we've got to go back in time now, way back.
Back to the beginning.
Right, to a kingdom that thrived even before the empires we usually learn about.
You're talking about the Kingdom of Urartu.
That's the one. They were around during the Bronze Age.
Yeah. What's crazy is how advanced they were.
What do you mean?
They had irrigation systems, amazing metalworking skills, and they built these incredible cities.
Not just simple villages.
Nope. Fortified cities with temples, palaces, they were way ahead of their time.
It's mind-blowing to think about these people building their lives in the very place we're learning about now.
It's like layers upon layers of history, all connected.
It gives me chills, honestly.
And don't forget, Armenia's location was key.
Oh, right?
Sitting at this crossroads of empires, it became like a main stop on the Silk Road.
That ancient trade route connecting east and west.
Exactly. Imagine the flow of goods, ideas, religions, all passing through Armenia.
So they were prosperous, but probably faced a lot of conflict too.
Oh, definitely. Their history is full of turmoil, being caught in the middle of other empires' ambitions.
It's heartbreaking to think about, but also it makes their resilience even more amazing.
Absolutely. And to understand that resilience, you have to look at the Armenian Apostolic Church.
It went beyond just religion, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a unifying force, a symbol of resistance, a protector of their culture.
So powerful.
To this day, the church is woven into Armenian life, from big national events to everyday family traditions.
Okay, I'm officially hooked. I'm already picturing myself exploring those churches and monasteries.
Which one are you most excited about?
Khor Virap. It's at the foot of Mount Ararat.
Oh, wow. The mountain where Noah's Ark is said to have landed.
I know, just the imagery alone is breathtaking.
Khor is special for another reason, too. It's tied to St. Gregory the Illuminator.
The one who brought Christianity to Armenia.
Yeah. He was imprisoned there for 13 years in a deep pit
Ow.
before he finally convinced the king to convert. You can still visit that pit today.
Imagine that, standing in that very spot, feeling all that history around you.
It's more than just sightseeing. It's like stepping back in time.
I can't wait to hear more about these places.
It really is something else, you
Yeah.
know, connecting those stories to those actual spots.
Yeah, it's not just a story in a book. It's like right there in front of you.
Exactly, and that's what makes Armenia so special. The past is so present. Everywhere you go, you can feel it.
So it's not just about reading history, you're living it.
You got it. And since we're talking about these amazing places, let's move on to some other monasteries in this guidebook. What about Noravank? It's tucked away in this gorge with these red cliffs all around it.
Oh yeah, Noravank. It looks incredible, like an architectural masterpiece.
It is. And those carvings, they tell these stories of faith, artistry.
Yeah, like biblical scenes, flowers, all these patterns etched in stone.
It dates back to the 13th century, a real center of religion and culture. And the architecture is this blend of Armenian and Byzantine styles.
Showing all those different influences that came through Armenia over the years.
It really does. It's a testament to the skill and creativity of the Armenian people.
I'm starting to picture myself at all these places, just, wow, taking it all in.
I can imagine. And if we're talking about awe-inspiring, we can't forget Tatev Monastery.
Oh yeah, the one on the cliff top.
Exactly. And get this, you reach it by cable car?
No way!
The longest non-stop double-track cable car in the world.
You're kidding?
Nope. They call it Wings of Tatev, and you get these incredible views of the Voratan Gorge.
Okay, that's going on my bucket list. A
Yeah.
cable car ride that's an adventure in itself.
It really is. It's amazing how they've connected this modern marvel to such an old, sacred place.
It's like they're saying, come see this incredible history, but we're going to get you there in style.
And it also shows how important tourism is to Armenia, finding that balance between showing off their treasures and protecting them.
Yeah, making sure those places are around for future generations.
Exactly. You know, earlier we were saying food is a window into a country's soul, right?
Right.
Well, I think these monasteries are like that too. They show you Armenia's spiritual heart, how strong they are, how connected they are to their past.
You know, you're so right. It's more than just beautiful buildings. It's like their faith and resilience all embodied in those places.
Beautifully put. And you know, we've been talking about these famous spots, but this guidebook also mentions some hidden gems,
Oh yeah? Like what?
places off the beaten path that give you a different look at Armenian life. Remember those cave dwellings?
Oh yeah, the ones carved into the cliffs.
The guidebook talks about Kanzorisk, a village built into the rock, and the Areni Cave.
Where they found that ancient winery,
Yep, the world's oldest known winery.
thousands of years old.
It makes you think differently about life back then. It wasn't just survival, they were innovative.
And maybe a little bit indulgent, too.
Right, like, hey, even way back then, we knew how to have a good time.
That's awesome. I wonder why they chose to live in caves, though. Was it for protection or something?
It probably depended. Some caves were natural shelters from invaders or bad weather.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Some were used for religious reasons, or maybe even by nomads as temporary homes.
So they adapted to what they had.
Exactly. They found ways to make a home and create community no matter where they were.
You know, it's fascinating to think about how ancient people lived so closely with nature.
That connection is still strong in Armenia today. The guidebook mentions some less visited areas, like Sunik with its amazing gorge, and Lori with its forests and incredible landscapes.
It sounds so wild and beautiful.
It is. These places are like a glimpse into Armenia's untamed beauty far away from the city.
Okay, now I'm really getting that travel bug. I'm picturing those mountain roads, hiking trails, maybe even seeing a brown bear.
Hopefully from a safe distance.
Yeah, good point. But you get the idea, the adventure's calling.
And you know what else the guidebook emphasizes? Responsible travel. Staying with local families in homestays.
I love that idea.
It's more authentic, you get a real taste of Armenian life, and you're supporting local communities.
It's like you're not just a tourist, you're part of the family, even if it's just for a little while.
Exactly. And you break down those cultural barriers, really connect with people, hear their stories.
It makes the whole trip more meaningful.
And it brings us to ecotourism. Armenia is working hard to protect its nature, and there are tons of ways for travelers to help.
Like what?
Well, the guidebook talks about hiking and trekking in Dilija National Park.
Okay, tell me more.
It's full of forests, rivers, all kinds of wildlife. Imagine that fresh mountain air, maybe spotting a deer or a cool bird.
I'm sold. Diligent National Park, here I come. Hiking boots, binoculars, I'm ready.
Don't forget your camera. You'll want to capture all those views. But ecotourism is more than just hiking. It's about supporting sustainable businesses.
Oh yeah, like eco-friendly hotels and stuff.
Exactly. The guidebook mentions some eco-lodges and guest houses. They're all about protecting the environment.
So you can enjoy the beauty of Armenia and know you're helping to preserve it.
It's win-win. It's traveling with a purpose, being mindful of the impact you have.
That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Leaving things better than you found them.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I'm honestly so inspired right now. This deep dive has shown me how amazing Armenia is. It's not just a place to visit. It's a country with so much depth,
It's a country with soul.
and it's made me want to completely rethink my travel plans.
That's the power of knowledge. It opens your mind, pushes you to explore, makes you curious about the world.
I'm totally hooked. I want to learn more about the people, their everyday lives, what makes Armenia unique.
There's so much to discover.
Yeah.
What are you most interested in learning about next?
Okay, so we've covered all these incredible things to see, the monasteries, the caves, that national park, but my brain's now switching to, like, practical stuff.
Like what?
Like, okay, I want to go to Armenia, but when's the best time? How do I get around? Do I need to learn Armenian? All those nitty-gritty details.
You're already planning your trip. I love it.
I know, right?
And luckily, the guidebook has all those answers.
Lay it on me.
Well, for weather, it looks like spring and autumn are the winners. Nice temperatures, not too crowded, plus nature's putting on a show, you know?
Yeah, like wildflowers or those colorful fall leaves.
Exactly.
Okay, that's perfect. I hate extreme weather.
And for getting around, Armenia's got a good mix of options.
Like what?
Buses are super common and affordable, especially between cities.
Okay, cool.
Taxis are easy to find in the cities, and if you're feeling adventurous, you can rent a car.
Ooh, a road trip through Armenia.
Right.
Now that sounds amazing. Winding roads, mountain views, stopping for fresh fruit at those roadside stands.
I've got to ask, though, what's the driving like there? I'm a bit of a nervous driver.
Well, the guidebook does say the roads can be a little unpredictable.
Oh, no.
And people might drive a little more enthusiastically than you're used to. Enthusiastically, huh? Okay, as long as I'm prepared, it could be fun.
That's the spirit. And hey, if it gets too much, there's always buses and taxis.
True. I'm sure I can find a local who knows those mountain roads like the back of their hand.
For sure. And what about the language? You asked about that.
Yeah. Well, I need to learn Armenian.
You'll find English in touristy spots and bigger cities, but learning a few basic phrases is always a good idea.
Oh, I agree.
It shows respect, you know, and it can really enrich your experience.
Plus, it's fun trying to speak another language.
Exactly. Picture yourself ordering koravats in Armenian.
Challenge accepted.
It's not just about remembering facts, it's about letting that knowledge inspire you to actually experience the world.
Yeah. This guidebook has taken Armenia from, like, this far-off place to somewhere I can actually imagine myself exploring.
It's like it's opened a door to a whole new world.
It really has. I'm already dreaming of those ancient streets, that amazing food, everything.
It's the magic of travel, isn't it? Opening yourself up to new experiences, new perspectives, letting it change you. Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Okay, before we wrap up, any final thoughts, something to leave our listeners with?
Remember how we talked about the Silk Road and all the different cultures that influenced Armenia?
Yeah.
Well, as you explore, keep an eye out for those traces of the past.
Oh, I like that.
In the buildings, the food, the music, even the faces of the people.
It's like a history treasure hunt.
Exactly. You're not just visiting a place, you're stepping into this living story woven from all these different threads.
Wow, I love that. I can't wait to go on that treasure hunt and see what I find.
And remember, the journey doesn't end when you come home. Let this deep dive be the start of your own exploration of Armenia. Read more, listen to Armenian music, maybe even start planning that trip.
So much to do. Well, to everyone listening, I hope this has inspired you to learn more about Armenia and maybe even visit someday. Until next time, happy travel.